It's like
check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Continue to talk, you're fine. There ain't no mic check, I promise. That was a joke. Relax, everybody. Informal deal.
And give them a big first down, Rob.
Yeah. That's tomorrow. It's a weekend. So, or no, it's a bye week. So I'm off. Well, how are y'all doing tonight? Everybody hear me? All right, good deal. Hope you're in good spirits. Welcome out to the 2024 Candidate Forum. We're happy to see all of you here, and we're actually live streaming this event for anyone who couldn't be out here today. My name is Robert Ortiz. I'm the current chairman of the Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're been working in conjunction with the Lockhart Chamber of Commerce to pull this thing off for you. First and foremost, I want to thank Mr. Jason Worthington for providing the go back for us and getting the lights situated for us, as well as Mr. Odell Bishop and his AV team from Lockhart High School for putting on the production. Putting on the production last minute, so I hope a big favor tomorrow. So we look forward to seeing you and your group tomorrow. Also want to announce our our moderators. We have Ms. Casey Brown and Ms. Lori Ringel. Thank you, ladies, for taking the time out of your day, giving us some energy for tonight, and helping me out so I didn't have to do it myself. So we're going to start going ahead and introducing the candidates. As I introduce you, you'll have your 3 minutes to give your allotted speech, and then go ahead and remain seated up here on the stage, in the seats that we have provided. We do have a podium for you. If you have any notes or anything that you want to bring up here with you, and we'll get this thing rolling. Thank you. All right, starting with the county commissioners. The incumbent for precinct 1, County Commissioner B.J. Westphal. Don't be shy, folks. You're here to support the candidates, so let's some more. Either one.
Good evening. Good evening. Before I get started, I would just like to take a minute to thank all of those who made this evening possible. Events like this are not simple to put on, and it takes a lot of effort. And thank you for all your efforts in making tonight possible. I'm B.J. Westphal. I'm the current county commissioner for Precinct 1 here in Caldwell County. And over the last 6 years, it's been a privilege to represent the citizens of Precinct 1 on the Commissioner's Court. As a proud lifelong resident of Caldwell County, born and raised in Lockhart, I have a unique perspective on not only where we've been, but where we're going. And over the last 6 years, myself and my colleagues on the Commissioner's Court have worked tirelessly to ensure that Caldwell County is positioned to provide its citizens with the opportunity to be as successful as they deem themselves to be, and to have every opportunity available to them to live, work, and play in this community. We've done that through investments in economic development, through our county road infrastructure. We've done that by partnering with our local entities in order to make sure that we leverage the county's limited funds as much as we can to provide improvements to not only county infrastructure, but to assist the cities in this county as well. I look forward to earning your vote this November to continue to serve the residents of this county and to continue the work that must be done in order to make Caldwell County the best place to live in the Central Texas area. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, running for Precinct 1, County Commissioner, this is Taylor Burge.
I'm Taylor Burge. I moved to Lockhart 9 years ago with my husband Austin to start a coffee shop, Shop Loud Coffee. We didn't start a coffee shop just to serve coffee. We imagined a space where people connect, and that's what happens every single day. Our running joke is if you are looking to connect or meet someone in the community, if you just hang out at a coffee shop for 5 minutes, you're probably going to run into them. Austin and I grew up in Rockwall, a small county outside of Dallas that experienced exponential growth. We still have family in Rockwall, and what used to take us 5 minutes to get across town now takes 40 minutes. I am the product of a small town that turned into a large suburb, and that perspective has made me very aware of the impact that rapid change causes to communities. Caldwell County is expected to grow to over 100,000 people by 2045, and we must be ready for it. As a business owner, I have worked with budgets, team leadership, strategic planning, and so much more. Like when the governor mandated that all restaurants go to zero indoor capacity. Instead of closing our doors, we immediately adapted. We knew the community needed essentials, and so we pivoted quickly and stocked items that people couldn't find. This pivot turned into a passion business, Good Things Grocery, focused on supporting local producers and connecting people with fresh, local products. During the snowstorm of 2021, the county was frozen, but we didn't let that stop us. We activated volunteers to drive across the state for supplies, and we partnered with Hamilton Farms to get all their eggs distributed to the community when they couldn't make deliveries. We saw neighbors paying ahead for others, and this generosity showed us the power of this community. When times get tough, we rise together. But I didn't stop at coffee and groceries. I've worked to support other local businesses, connecting them with new customers by using our spaces as incubators. I've also partnered with schools, providing resources and education surrounding nutrition, and engaging our youth through events like our kids' annual Makers Market. I've never waited for someone else to step in. I saw the need and I acted in a way that involves people. And this is what community is about. And this is how I approach every challenge. I would never back down when things get difficult. And as your commissioner, I would work to continue to step up and find solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. We got Caldwell County Commissioner, Precinct 3, the incumbent, Mr. Ed Gerry.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here, and I'd like to thank the Lockhart Chamber of Commerce and the Hispanic, the Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for putting on the event. I'd also like to thank LISD for providing this beautiful facility. My roots are very deep in Caldwell County. I grew up in Caldwell County and graduated from Lockhart High School. Go Cats! I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 42 years. Many of you know Andrea, Andrea Carlos worked as an animal advocate in the county. I went to school at what was then Southwest Texas State University and received my degree in urban and regional planning. We moved back to Lockhart, raised our family here, and our child graduated from Lockhart High School also. In 2015, I felt compelled to run for office as Commissioner of Precinct 3. I felt my experience in government management, development regulations, and transportation issues might help the county deal with the exponential growth that was occurring, much of which was badly damaging the county. Since becoming a commissioner, I've worked to improve our development codes, negotiate development agreements to try to achieve better projects, and coordinated with TxDOT and our MPO to improve our state roadways. We currently have around 18,000 lots in the development pipeline for Caldwell County. Managing that upcoming growth is one of my highest priorities. Other significant issues involve our core responsibilities to maintain the county's roadway system. When I came into office, about 3/4 of our 420 miles of roadways were paved. We have significantly increased the materials, personnel, and equipment budgets of our unit road department, and have now brought that down in half with that goal of having all of our roadways paved within the next 3 years. Code enforcement is another significant issue. Y'all also see the substandard situations out in the county. Me, Commissioner Westmoreland, District Attorney Fred Weber, and Hoppy Hagen worked hard to establish a code enforcement department. We still have a lot of work to do, but I think we're on the right road. So I thank you all for being here, and I look forward to answering your questions.
All right, our next race will be the Caldwell County Sheriff. We have our incumbent, Sheriff Mike Lane. Oh, my apologies. I didn't wrote this down, folks. Like I said, we're giving this info. So, Caldwell County Commissioner, Precinct 3, Mr. Margarito, Mickey Zapata.
My name is Margarito Zapata. I've also lived all my life in Caldwell County. I'm a resident of Fentress. Also married my high school sweetheart here in Prairie League. My roots are deep. My dad was in public service, if I remember Margarito Jr. He served as constable for several terms here. He worked relentlessly to do the best he could for everybody in the county. I believe I have the experience to represent and take care of our community. This includes 35 years as a tri-community volunteer firefighter here in Caldwell County, 18 years as an Austin firefighter. I've also served 19 years on the Prairie League High School Board of Trustees, where I've helped build a new high school, so that school can stay around forever. I've also ran the family business for over 40 years here in Caldwell County, so I know what it feels like to struggle to have a small business in a growing community. Our campaign is about 3 things: managing growth, public safety, and transparency. With growth on the horizon, I believe it's critical to have a leader who can navigate change, but still preserve the uniqueness of our small communities. That's what makes Caldwell special, and that's why people want to come here. I've met with families with a smart terminal that was developed in their backyard in Weeville. I've met with the working class families of Maxwell who were concerned about the natural gas company plant that turned up in their backyard without notice. I've also met with policy experts about the San Marcos River who have serious concerns about our floodplains with all the new growth that is coming. And I've also met with tax experts on tax incentives. We need to make sure these tax giveaways are going to companies that are bringing living wage jobs to this community. And currently, we don't have a good job standards in our Chapter 381, and I hope we can change that. As far as public safety is always going to be my top priority. whether there are floods, fires, or the top topic now, celebratory gunfire. If elected, I bring my 35 years of public safety experience to the court so we can tackle these issues with our local law enforcement. Transparency. If elected, I'm committed to real transparency. That means going out and seeking input from the communities as changes are going to affect. My entire career has been about public service. To the school, to the fire departments, or just helping my local neighbor. I got into public service because of my dad. And I remember he always taught us, it's easy to complain, to sit there and complain, but instead of complaining, get up and do something about it, and that's what this campaign is about. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, now moving on to Caldwell County Sheriff. Our incumbent Sheriff, Mike Lincoln.
How's everybody doing this evening? I'm gonna set my timer because I sometimes get a little out of hand. Oh, okay. Well, I want to be able to. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Lincoln, I'm your current sheriff. I graduated from Lockhart High School. I've served Caldwell County since August of 1991 when I joined the volunteer fire department here. I've gone and done other things, but in September of 1991, I started as a corrections officer in Caldwell County. I worked my way up. I've been a full-time firefighter. I've been a full-time EMT. I've been a part-time firefighter and EMT for Lockhart. I was a full-time deputy for Hays County Sheriff's Office, and I was a full-time deputy fire marshal for Hays County. Caldwell County Sheriff's Office has always called me home. Again, I started as a jailer in 1991. When I came back to Caldwell County in 2001, I started off as a jailer. And I've literally worked every position there. Started off as a corrections officer. I've worked dispatch. I've worked patrol. I've worked criminal investigations. I've worked as a sergeant. I worked as a patrol captain, chief deputy, and now your sheriff. I like to think that everybody knows me, but more people know my wife and my son than would ever know me. Cheryl Lane, paramedic for Luling. She was just voted best paramedic in Caldwell County once again. And my son, who is unable to make it because he's doing a tour in Dallas for a kidney EMS for the next 10 days. Our professional affiliations, I'm a member of the Lockhart Chamber of Commerce. I'm a board member of the Education Foundation for Lockhart ISD. I'm a graduate of the Leadership Command College. I'm a past board of directors member of the Texas Chief Deputies Association. I'm a chairman of the Law Enforcement Education Committee at CAPCOG. I'm a newly elected president at the Texas Sheriff's Regional Alliance. And I'm a member of the Sheriff's Association of Texas, and I sit on the Legislative Committee as well as the TCOL Committee. What I've done, excuse me, I don't have my glasses. When I took office, one of the things I vowed I was going to do is make a completely new policy and procedures manual. The one that we had before came from Hays County, and we did what we could with it as things grew. But with the help of the Texas Association of Counties, we came up with a completely new policy manual. That policy manual brought in accountability measures, including response to resistance and action review boards. We started the drone program. I'm not sure if any of the volunteer firefighters are aware of all the stuff that we do. We help anyone that needs it. Any first responder in the county that needs it, we will send out our drone team. Fighting fires, dealing with whatever it might be. I promised in my first campaign that I would do 3 substations. I have all 3 of them done. Part of what I did was I went to Aqua and got the building lit in Springs. That was going to be am I done? Wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to finish with this one building and I'll be done. I still haven't done a page. So real quick, I was notified of the building at
of Aqua, at their little springs where the JP's office and the constable's office is. That was meant to be our substation. The county judge and I decided that that would probably better serve the community as the JP office and the constable's office. And so then we took a little corner there. So I was instrumental in bringing that to Little Springs. Thank you. All right, the moment, we're calling County Sheriff, Mr. Hector Ringel.
Good evening, everybody, especially Caldwell County out there in your work. My name is Hector Ringel, and I'm running for Caldwell County Sheriff. Give you a brief history of myself. I was born and raised here in Caldwell County, graduated from Lockhart High School. Right after high school, I delayed a year and joined the U.S. Army, where I became an instructor at the School of the Americas in Panama, where I trained Central and South American troops. I had 2 deployments to Iraq. One where I created the first boat operation in history of the Army during combat time, where I had 6 boats and I controlled the Tigris River, one of the holiest rivers in the Middle East. I'm also a Texas peace officer. I've been a peace officer since 1998, and I'm still a peace officer. I am a master peace officer with 11,140 hours of training. I'm also your Caldwell County Homeland Security and Emergency Management Coordinator at the present time, going on 6 years. And what have I done for y'all? COVID hit. COVID hit, I made sure you had testing. I made sure that you had vaccinations. If you didn't see it, I did it for 2.5 years. Then we had the big snowstorm. The big snowstorm hit. H-E-B ran out of food. Walmart ran out of food. Well, I had pre-ordered lots of trucks of MREs and water. I made sure that every family was fed and every family had water. If you couldn't make it to the lines, I personally took it to your house. I always make sure that I take care of the citizens of Caldwell County, just like I do now. I take care of 60,000 people every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm one of the few out there that have those hours, and that's my wife. My wife, radio goes off all the time in the middle of the night, and I'm out the door in 3 minutes. That's how fast I operate. One of the other things I tackled, all the large fires you saw last year, we had 27 large fires, and I think 12 of them were named by the Texas Forest Service. We didn't lose a single structure. This year, it started again. We've already lost 4 structures, but all of those 4 structures, 2 people were displaced, and I made sure that the Red Cross took care of those folks, and they had a place to stay. They weren't going to be out on the street. Ladies and gentlemen, I had 3 things to tackle if I'm elected sheriff. First one, recruiting. Did y'all know that back in 1998, there were only 2 deputies and 1 sergeant? Right now, the number's about the same, 24 years later. Recruitment is my biggest priority, is to make sure that I have deputies in this county. FBI statistics state that should be 2 officers for every 1,000 folks. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed all the growth that's happening on Highway 21, I just talked to a water company yesterday who I went and did an inspection of their facility and asked them if they had enough water. They said, we got plenty. Then I asked them, how many houses are going in? They said, 20,000 just alone in the San Marcos, right there at the Caldwell County line with Hays County. Ladies and gentlemen, we're behind. We're behind. Look at the numbers I just gave you. 2 officers per 1,000. 60,000, we're short. Next one, celebratory gunfire. I'm already working on a big project, and it's almost up. And I'm hoping to have that project authorized, and it looks good so far, and it's coming. The next one is that I am going to be the same work ethic as I am now, 24/7. I'm always going to be there for you. I'm not going to do anything else but sit in that sheriff's office and listen to whatever complaints you got. Open door policy, come see me, have coffee, cookies, or whatever it takes, come see me. That's the kind of guy I am. Thank you. My name is Hector Ringel, and I'm running for Caldwell County Sheriff.
All right, moving on to Caldwell County Tax Assessor Collector. There is no incumbent running. We did do a coin flip to see who would speak first. The winner was Ms. Debbie Sanders. I do have witnesses for the coin flip as well. Keeping the integrity of this event.
Hi, I'm Debbie Sanders, and I also graduated from Lockhart High School. Anyway, I'm running for tax assessor collector. I was born and raised in Lockhart, and I believe in serving my community. I come from a family of public servants. My father-in-law, who served as mayor of Lockhart, and my husband and his brothers are in law enforcement. Many of you probably know this is not my first time running for this position, as I am passionate about serving my community. I am not giving up on the residents of Caldwell County. It's been far too long since the tax assessor's office has had a leader with the citizens in mind. I will not be an absent leader. My experience is primarily in city and county government. I retired after 26 years of service from the city of Boston. After I retired, I worked for 3 years in the tax assessor's office I am campaigning for. Many of you probably know me from hometown cinemas, where I got to know so many residents of Lockhart and surrounding areas. By the way, I really miss that place. I was the general manager for 3 years and assistant manager for another 3 years. My time at hometown cinemas gave me extensive experience in customer service and leading a team. I believe that a strong leader makes a strong work environment. I will be ready to work for you as I am. I have the experience needed to work in the tax assessor's office. I may not currently be working there, but that changes nothing, as I have the knowledge needed to keep things running with a smooth transition when elected for this position. Our county is growing quickly, and I believe it's time for a tax assessor with a new vision. As Caldwell County grows, the tax assessor's office has not kept up with the growth. I have the vision to make the tax assessor's office more accessible to citizens. My vision includes extended hours, not closing the Luling office during lunch, and having an office with a drive-through, and also being able to renew your registration at your local HEB. These are needed so you can conduct your business quickly and return to your busy lives. These are services that other counties offer. I pledge I will make customer relations my top priority. This will include providing excellent customer service, extensive training for employees, and listening to the needs of Caldwell County citizens. Not many people know the role of tax assessor in Caldwell County. This office provides services such as vehicle and title registration and renewal, title transfers, and issuing of handicap placards. This office does not assess or collect property taxes nor handle elections. The office serves as an agent for the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles and the Texas State Comptroller. I believe in providing professional customer service, accountability, and transparency. I am committed to serving the people of Caldwell County. I am the right choice at the right time. Please vote for Debbie Sanders for tax assessor collector. Thank you.
And her opponent, Caldwell County Tax Assessor Collector, Ms. Joy Morris Parker.
Hello. My name is Joy Morris Pardo, and I'm thrilled to confirm my candidacy for the position of Caldwell County Tax Assessor Collector. As a proud third-generation Caldwell County resident, my ties to this community are not just a matter of residence, they are a testament to my deep-rooted commitment to the people and progress of our beloved county. Having graduated from Lockhart High School in 1994 and subsequently earning my real estate license in 2001, my journey has been one of continuous service to the needs of Caldwell County for over 2 decades. Lockhart is more than my hometown. It is the heartbeat of my experiences, and Caldwell County is a canvas where my community aspirations come to life. In addition to my current pursuit, my history with Caldwell County is marked by 8 years of dedicated service. I proudly and honorably held the position of Chief Deputy at the Tax Assessor's Office for 4 years, bringing forth a wealth of experience and understanding of the intricacies of county administration. Furthering my commitment, I also served as Assistant Elections Administrator for the Caldwell County Elections Office for another 4 years, amplifying my passion
for civic engagement. As we approach the significant dates for the general election on November 5th, I stand ready and eager to serve you once again. Your vote is not just a mark on the ballot, it is an endorsement for positive leadership, and I am profoundly grateful for your support. I am also currently back at the tax office, serving as your chief deputy, and I humbly am asking for your vote to keep me at the tax office and offer a positive environment when you come to business. Vote joy on November 5th.
All right, we're gonna move on. Side note, I'm also a graduate of Lockhart High School, so. We're gonna move on to the school board, District 4, with our incumbent, Mr. Warren Burnett. Feels like the prize is rising. Come on down. Sorry, I don't have any prizes. That's it. Intro music, we should have an intro music. I'm a DJ, I should have thought of this, right?
Good evening, I'm Warren Burnett, running for trustee, Lockhart ISD trustee District 4. I'm married to Nicole, executive director of Golden Age Homes Assisted Living, and I have 2 kids in Lockhart ISD, one at the junior high, 6th grader, and a junior at the high school. I've lived in Lockhart for 25 years. I did not go to high school here. I went to Bastrop. Still the truth. I'm also a small business owner. I've served the community of Lockhart for many years. Ever since I've come here, I've served at our church, First Lockhart Baptist Church. I'm a deacon there. I served there, and then a few years into the town, I was asked to serve on the City Parks and Recreation Board, and I've been on there for 12 years, championing for at least 12 years, I made it 13, but anyway, championing getting a pool for Lockhart because our pool is inadequate and it leaks crazy. And for years, I talked to the city about school district, city go together to build a pool. It looks like that is fixing to happen, so praise the Lord that that's going to happen for our students at Lockhart ISD, who will be able to do swim teams, and we'll be able to teach all our kids how to swim and get swim lessons, so all students, I think it's 2nd graders, will be taught how to swim. Anyway, I'm very proud of that. Also, been on the board since 2016. I was secretary for a few years, and currently I'm serving as vice president of the board. Let's see. Why did I run for school board 8 years ago? I believe that you're supposed to be responsible for your kids and their education. I saw being on the board as a way to support my own students. And I went in and I was like, I want every student in Lockhart to get a great education. Not just my students, every student in Lockhart ISD. And then shortly, when the election got on the board, Mark Estrada comes in and he goes, we're going to do 1.5 throughout the district. That's right, every kid is based on growth. It's not based on what grade they get, it's based on, or K through 6th grade or 8th grade, it's based on how much they grow each year, a year and a half. And I was like, that means the smartest kids in the class, as well as those that need to work a little harder or need more work, they all are forced to grow for a year and a half. So everyone gets a proper education in Lockhart ISD, and we're doing very well with that. I'm very big on fiscal discipline, quality, education, transparency, integrity, innovation, and preparing for the future. The growth, therefore, we're building a new school right now. There's an addition going on right out these doors for the high school. And there's going to be many more bonds to come because there are many, many more students that are coming. And we have to be prepared for that. And thankfully, Lockhart ISD has a great superintendent that works well with the board so that we can work as a team of 8 leading Lockhart ISD. Thank you.
All right, here's a vote for the school board for District 4. We have Mr. Chris Charles.
Thank you. I did bring my glasses, so.
Big print.
Thank you, Chambers of Commerce, and thank you, LISD. My name is Chris Charles. I'm the father of a third grader at Clear Fork Elementary. I've lived here for over 8 years, and I'm an active member of the community by volunteering time to a few local organizations. That means a Girl Scout dad, so that takes up most of my time. I have a bachelor's in environmental science and a master's of landscape architecture, but I don't think that really matters on this panel here. But I did work hard for those, and I am a product of the public school system. A little about what I do for a living. I'm a conservation program coordinator for Austin Water. I've been there for 13 years. What does that mean? I use ratepayers' money to create programs that save millions of gallons of water every year. I'm familiar with budgets, and I've always been responsible with them. Why am I running for school board? I've been talking to a lot of locals about their issues with the school district. I've also been attending Superintendent Estrada's parent talks that just started recently. After listening to all the concerns out there, I want to make a difference by making sure every LISD student has a safe and healthy learning environment. This includes enhanced safety at all schools, proper nutrition, and even fixing buses, to name a few things. Why is safety an issue with parents right now? Well, I've been listening and taking notes. We have an overcrowding issue. When you put 5 elementary schools, make that 6 because they're building one right now, into one junior high, issues are bound to happen. Let's talk communication. I've been learning that there has been a disconnect between the school board and the people they represent in District 4. I've been knocking on doors, talking to people. They do not know why certain decisions were made and why there seems to be a lack of communication from the board. Even contacting the board seems to be an issue via email or phone call. We can look up voting records online for any board members, but why were those decisions made? That's what people would like to know. I believe a fresh perspective is needed on the board. I will be asking lots of questions, if elected, to make sure the board has thought out their decisions carefully. I will make sure communication happens and nobody's left in the dark. And I will always put the students of Lockhart Independent School District first. Thank you.
Don't take that one, somebody mess up that. All right, running opposed, but he's still here. Running for constable, Mr. Richard Sanders.
I'm somewhat not prepared tonight simply because I was very, very sick. So please bear with me. My name is Richard Sanders. I am running unopposed as a Republican candidate for a constable for Precinct 1. I've been very humbled by all of the outpouring of support that I have received for this candidacy that I was running. People have been amazing throughout this entire process. It's been a very humbling and very learning process. I used to be known as Debbie's husband. I finally have my own name now, and it's been pretty fun. I've learned a lot. I've got to meet many, many great people, and I'm going to love to be your constable for Precinct 1. Thank you.
Just want to recognize our fellow county treasurer, Ms. Gloria Garcia, who is in the audience tonight. Running unopposed as well. Up next, we have running for state representative, Ms. Desiree Bedwell.
everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Desiree Venable. I am running for Texas State Representative, and I did not graduate from Lockhart High School. I grew up in a small village of Raymondville in south central Missouri. We had 340 people, very rural area. I've lived in Bastrop now though for about 7 years. And just a little background on me, my parents had me at a very young age, and I grew up in a very impoverished background for the first half of my childhood. Until my father was luckily able to secure a position with union iron workers up in Missouri, and I always give them the credit that through their wages, their benefits, their securities, that and their protections, that is what helped us work our way out of that impoverished lifestyle. I have a background in customer service, a background in managerial positions, specifically as a resolution specialist, and a background in public education. I spent many years of my life as an activist and advocate, and in my spare time, I do a lot of protesting, petitioning, organizing, volunteering, whatever I could do to get involved. I've always felt this drive to help people. However, I never felt that my prior attempts were impactful enough until running for this position. I have wanted to get more involved in our political system for a long time, so I became a board member for a local political organization. And again, still didn't feel like enough, and then I began running for this position. What honestly pushed me at the end to run was because I was tired of seeing the system that we live in undergo so much corruption that the corruption has become business as usual to us, and it is a daily occurrence. I am also very sick and tired of seeing our people in our community specifically struggle and suffer when I know we have the means to make everyone's lives more easy, more enjoyable, and more equitable. There are many policy changes that I would like to see enacted if I am elected regarding our day-to-day lives. I'd like to see an expansion of comprehensive and accessible and affordable healthcare, specifically an expansion of Medicaid. I'd like to see our public education system flourish, and I think we can only do that by voting down the school voucher scam, as well as increasing our funding and increasing our school funding because we are well below the national average here in Texas, and increasing and providing adequate wages to our teachers and administrative staff. I'd like to see our working class be provided additional protections and benefits so that our working class families can thrive. I'd like to see our environmental safeguards put in place to protect them from the exploitation of the greedy corporations that we have. But I believe to get to these changes in our society, we have to address the root issue, which again is corruption. I believe we must focus on increasing the transparency across the board in our political system. We have to reform the broken campaign finance system, and we absolutely have to crack down on lobbying and get financial interests completely out of our political system off both sides of the aisle. This will be my long-term priority once in office. And I want you guys to know that I strive to reach across the political aisle and start these hard, difficult conversations. And I think it's vital that we vote in people who are going to prioritize the community as a whole, not their own priorities and their own party members. Thank you.
Our final guest, running for state Congress, is Tanya Lowell.
Sorry, I don't see him behind the podium. So it's not state Congress, it's actually U.S. House of Representatives. My name is Tanya Lloyd, and I graduated from Lockhart High School. As did my brother and my sister. My dad retired from Lockhart High School. So I'm a longtime resident. My family immigrated into this district in the 1840s. Never ever thought I would run for office. This is not a dream of mine. But I was sitting on the couch in late October, and I heard that our current representation was running unopposed. And the things that he hasn't done and the things that he supports are very, very opposed to what my beliefs are. And so I looked at my husband and I said, guess what, honey? I'm running for office. And he's like, he's 100% behind it. But the reason I'm running for office, realistically, is women's reproductive rights. As a mom who nearly lost her life 22 years ago with her daughter, I know that our women need to make those choices to save their lives when they have to. And we are smart enough to be able to do that without somebody telling us what to do. So that's a main reason. Also, I'm a public educator. I'm actually currently teaching right now in Lockhart ISD. This is year 18 for me. And so, when I started this journey, I had some pretty narrow things that I wanted to accomplish, right? Women's reproductive rights, education. But as I've gone on this journey in these 14 counties, I've visited military bases, Coast Guard stations. I've talked to people in all 14 counties almost. And we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about water, we're talking about environmental needs down on the coast. We're talking about jobs, good jobs. It's been an amazing journey, and I know that there are things that we can do. Right now, the Congress that is in session is the second least productive Congress in the history of the United States. And our current congressman has passed 0 legislation with his name on it. Not one piece of legislation in the entire time he's been there. My job when I get to Congress is to represent you and listen to you, listen to the needs of this district, all 14 counties. And I am very proud to say that the money that I have raised to do this campaign, 600 small dollar donations, 80% within the district. My opponent can't say that. His are PACs, oil companies, insurance companies. And he's sitting on a whole lot more money to spend on this campaign than I am. But I'm giving it my all. I've traveled over 24,000 miles since January 1st, my new little car that I love, I'm proud of, and met some amazing people. I never thought that I would be able to talk to people in Israel or Gaza on the phone, Zoom calls, learning what's going on in the rest of the world. So Congress needs a first grade teacher, that's what I believe, and I appreciate your support and your votes. Thank you.
All right, how about one more round of applause for all of our candidates? Thank you so much for your patience and being through this. We're going to move on to the question section, and I'll turn it over to our moderators. In the meantime, please keep in mind, we want to be respectful of all candidates' time and energy. So we want to definitely refrain from any negative comments or jeers. But let's please keep it simple. As I said, we'll keep this in the positive energy and just really refrain from any outbursts. So thank you so much for your participation and patience while we do this. So let's up a couple times on. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you again.
Okay, our first questions are gonna go to Commissioner Precinct 1, and candidates will stand up here at the podium. It's gonna be, the first question I will go to Commissioner Westmoreland. Commissioner Westmoreland, in regards to economic development, what specific strategies do you plan to implement to encourage sustainable economic development and attract businesses to Caldwell County?
So our basic strategy that the Commissioners Court has undertaken through both Chapter 312 and Chapter 381 agreements has changed over the last few years as interest in the county has diversified. Our goals are to provide incentives to companies who are going to provide jobs of a living wage, and companies that are going to invest locally here and provide tax dollar relief that allows us to reduce the tax burden on residential homeowners. And those are the priorities that at this time that the court is focused on with both economic incentive programs.
Thank you for that. And I do just want to mention, everyone has 1 minute to answer their questions. If it's coming up on a minute, we'll just raise our hand and you can just finish your sentence. And whoever's reading, you're free to sit there or whatever is most comfortable for you guys. So Taylor, same question in reference to economic development. What specific strategies do you plan to implement to encourage sustainable economic development and attract businesses to Caldwell County?
So how are we going to attract economic development that is sustainable and it works for everyone here? I'm a small business owner and I'm a champion of small business owners. I know that big corporations make big headlines, but the backbone of America and the backbone of Caldwell County is small business. And so I want to explore more options on how we can support not just, incentivizing small business owners to come in, but also working with developers to bring in opportunities for micro retail. And I think that opportunity is there. I think we can do that. I believe in more conversation happening with developers and people that are wanting to bring opportunities to our town. And I believe that we can work with places like ACC when it comes to town and develop workforce solutions for people, get them plugged in. There's a lot that we can do, but the core of what I believe is strengthening through small and micro business.
Thank you. If you'll stand up there and you'll get the question and then go back and forth. So, in regards to infrastructure improvement, how will you address the county's current infrastructure needs, including roads, water systems, and broadband access, especially in the rural areas?
So how we're going to address rural areas, especially in regards to transportation and access and broadband, right? So the county has put out a county bond that's going to be on your ballot for working towards some of those road improvements and working towards some key targeted areas. And I've looked at the website that the county was able to put out, and it's really educational because the bottom line is that we need to know, as county officials, they need to know where the places of issue are, and they can only do that by engaging with people. And so there were lots of opportunities to engage with communities. They did open houses to engage with people, and then they published their target ideas. The problem that I see, the challenge that I see is that information is not adequately getting out to people. When I looked at the social media that was put up, it's got zero engagement, and a lot of people don't know the work that's already being done.
Thank you. Commissioner Westmoreland, same question. How will you address the county's current infrastructure needs, including roads, water systems, and broadband access, especially in rural areas?
So the county has available at its discretion several options in relation to those issues. When it comes to specific county roads, we've made investments through our regular ad valorem budget, as well as using funds from private donations to address improvements to our local roads. We're attempting to leverage local funds through the bond election with our NPO to improve TxDOT facilities. The Texas Water Development Board has several options available for grants when it comes to water infrastructure. We have applied for those in the past. And when it comes to broadband, it seems that the state is getting ready to make investments in that, and our grants department stands ready to apply for those when the time comes.
Okay. Commissioner Westmoreland, in regards to property taxes and budget management, with the rising cost of living, how do you plan to balance necessary public services and infrastructure improvements with keeping property taxes affordable for residents?
Thank you. So this goes back to the economic development question pretty heavily. As we try to attract commercial and industrial businesses to the county, the intent of that whole initiative is to offset the tax burden to residential tax owners by spreading that out amongst commercial and industrial enterprise. By doing that, we're able to lower the rate at which the county is taxing and assessing each individual property. And through those efforts, we can continue to try to make as affordable as possible the greater Caldwell County area as affordable as we can.
Thank you for that. Taylor, I'll repeat the question. With the rising cost of living, how do you plan to balance necessary public services and infrastructure improvements with keeping property taxes affordable for residents?
Yeah. we have to diversify the type of development and infrastructure that's changing here. We can't, like the town that I came from, we can't only have large suburban houses because that's going to break our tax base. That's not enough income for our county to operate and build infrastructure in order to do all the things and maintain all the things that we need to do. So we have to broaden, we have to, like Commissioner Westmoreland said, we have to bring in different types of infrastructure, different types of businesses, and diversify. I would love to see more micro retail in establishments so you can create a space where people can connect with one another, keep their money local by supporting micro businesses and supporting more small businesses, and then they're going to want to live, play, and do life here and build community here.
Okay, thank you. Taylor, you then. In regards to public safety and services, what steps will you take to ensure that Caldwell County's law enforcement, fire departments, and emergency services are properly funded and equipped to serve the community?
How are we going to fund our very needed public servants in regards of safety? I've talked with constables, I've talked with sheriffs, I've talked with so many different types of people in law enforcement. Firefighters are one of our biggest heroes because my son. And I recognize that with Caldwell County changing and growing and the budget needing to catch up to the needs that we have, that we're tight on budget and we need to figure out how to do better with our budget. But beyond that, we need to have better communication with our people that are working for us now. And we need to have better communication with the city of Lockhart and the city of Luling so that, we're not losing some of our sheriff's officers to the cities. We need to keep these people in the county workforce so we don't have to go out and train more people, which costs more money. So we have to build relationships with all of the people that are currently working with us and the new people that will be coming working with us.
Thank you. Commissioner Westmoreland, I'll repeat the question. What steps will you take to ensure that Caldwell County's law enforcement, fire departments, and emergency services are properly funded and equipped to serve the community?
So just this year, the Commissioners Court decided to make a significant investment in the Sheriff's Office in order to make sure that the attrition that was unfortunately happening was stemmed to the best degree possible. Going forward, members of the Commissioners Court need to advocate to our state legislature to continue to provide funds such as they did under the last legislative cycle with Senate Bill 22 to allow rural law enforcement agencies to have greater funding availability from the state. When it returns to fire and EMS, we've made great strides in making sure that ESC number 5 is properly funded and is properly supported going forward in cooperation with both cities. And our rural fire departments are slowly but surely developing into ESDs in order to be properly supported as well.
Okay, thank you. This is going to be your final question, Commissioner Westmoreland. In regards to environmental concerns and growth, as Caldwell County continues to grow, how do you plan to address potential environmental concerns such as water conservation and land use while promoting responsible growth and development?
So county's authority is very limited under the state when it comes to local control over environmental and or growth issues. However, that doesn't mean that we are completely without cause. We have the ability to interact privately with developers and businesses that are wanting to move here. And we've done that through development agreements with the Commissioners Court where we are able to get those developments into a contractual agreement with the county that allows us to ask for things that we normally would not be able to require. And typically those involve higher quality of construction and conservation issues that start to address some of those problems going forward. And I think that we will continue to use development agreements as a tool to make sure that those businesses who are wanting to develop parts of Caldwell County are proactive and responsible in the way that they do it.
Thank you. All right, Taylor, last question. As Caldwell County continues to grow, how do you plan to address potential environmental concerns such as water conservation and land use while promoting responsible growth and development?
I mean, the biggest thing that I hear from people is they're concerned about water. When we're growing, where are we going to get the water from? And I understand all the different, developer partnerships that we can do with in regards to water and, building improvements. I would also love to see us really focus on rainwater catchment. I know that there's like a lot of water that comes down from the sky. I listened to an interview with Sid Miller the other day, who actually was talking about just that, how we need to incentivize developers to put in rainwater collection. So that means that we have to also ensure that the city will allow for rainwater collections, that the county can allow for rainwater collections, that we're using that water in different ways, and incentivizing and hopefully encouraging people to take care of what we have here and not waste it.
Thank you. And now we will have the commissioners for precinct 3. And Commissioner Terrio will be first. First question in regards to environmental concerns and growth. As Caldwell County continues to grow, how do you plan to address potential environmental concerns such as water conservation and land use while promoting responsible growth and development?
I think BJ covered it well in talking about the limitations that the state legislature has placed on the ability for counties to regulate land use and environmental issues. We do frequently enter into development agreements and intensive negotiations with development groups that are coming in. And that does provide us the opportunity to provide for water quality treatment, to provide for water conservation associated with the developments and infrastructure improvements. So that's the best answer I can give, is that we have to stay on top of it and use innovative methods to do what we're not allowed to do by right.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome up. I'll repeat the question. As Caldwell County continues to grow, how do you plan to address potential environmental concerns such as water conservation and land use while promoting responsible growth and development?
Like I said earlier, I've had conversations with the San Marcos River Authority and stuff, and through the conversations, we talked about these new subdivisions coming in, their wastewater. Why can't their wastewater be sent to the ranchers? Ranchers farm grass, for instance, Cherryville counties. Why can't they use their wastewater to irrigate their water and quit pumping water out of the river? I think we have to think out of the box like that to move forward, because we're growing at such a rapid rate. We're going to have to think out of the box, and that's just some small things that we've talked about. But I think it's education. We have to educate the people here in Caldwell County and the businesses that come in. When they come in, they need to have that on their agenda too. How are you going to help us preserve water and protect our environment?
Thank you. So you'll have this question. In regards to public safety and services, what steps will you take to ensure that Caldwell County's law enforcement, fire departments, and emergency services are properly funded and equipped to serve the community?
I think it should be a more concerted effort. I mean, we need law enforcement and we need fire protection and everything else. We need them in time of need, and we need to help them. We need to fund them. A great step was ESD 5. That was a great step. I'm talking to them next week. We need to encourage the fire departments to kind of go that way, as especially out towards Ventures area, 60 below up, just like 21. They need to start thinking about an ESD maybe to have the staff 24 hours. And that's the big deal for the fire departments, is you can have all these new trucks, but during the day, your launchers work. We need to start having big firefighters there for the protection of the people that are coming in. Law enforcement, we need great strides of raising their pay. I think we're going to retain a lot of our officers now, and now it's just training them and recruiting. I think the big thing is recruiting, showing them how special it is to work here in Caldwell County, and now that we have the pay to back it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Terrio, what steps will you take to ensure that Caldwell County's law enforcement, fire departments, and emergency services are properly funded and equipped to serve the community?
The commissioner's role in providing for public safety within the county is to provide the funding and resources necessary for professionals to do their job safely and effectively. This last budget process, we worked with the SO department to significantly raise the salaries of many of the deputies, to work on retention of those positions. In the past, Caldwell County has had kind of a reputation as a training center. We would hire deputies, and then once they were trained and equipped, they would leave to go other places where the salaries are better. So we're working hard on that and through our budget process to make sure that we're getting those salaries competitive.
Thank you. Commissioner Gerry, you're up against it. In regards to property taxes and budget management, with the rising cost of living, how do you plan to balance necessary public services and infrastructure improvements with keeping property taxes affordable for residents?
That's a strong part of our economic development efforts, is to shift that burden from the residential taxpayer of the county to the industrial and heavy commercial taxpayers. There are industries that are coming into Caldwell County that have $1 billion in capital investment, which is huge and can make significant differences in the services that the county can provide, and the ability to fund our existing programs. Over the last 8 years, we've reduced the tax rate due to those economic development efforts by over 33 cents per hundred. So we have a good record of shifting that burden, and we'll continue that effort.
Thank you. Nikki, with the rising cost of living, how do you plan to balance necessary public services and infrastructure improvements with keeping property taxes affordable for residents?
I think it's kind of like they said, we need to transfer the burden to these income companies. We need to make them invest into the community, into our schools. You know, I've met with they're coming in the Prairie League. I was on the school board, I was school board president, I met with them. If you ask them, they're willing to bend over backwards for you. They're willing to give us housing for teachers. They're willing to give us acreage for fire department, even give us acreage for schools. But to get all the companies to invest like that and come in and give us something upfront instead of giving them a huge tax break and not get anything, I think that's one of the first steps.
Thank you. Okay, for the next question in regards to infrastructure improvement, how will you address the county's current infrastructure needs, including roads, water systems, and broadband access, especially in rural areas?
In rural areas, we're already behind. This should have happened already. You see the growth coming on 21 and where it's going. It's going to Greenville, Martindale. We need to get up. We need to get the studies done. They should have been done. We need to get them done to get ahead of this instead of behind. We're kind of behind the ball. So I think the bond is a great idea to try to catch us up, but we still need to move forward and be progressive. And with these new companies, have them help with the growth through their companies and make the investments you need.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question. How will you address the county's current infrastructure needs, including roads, water systems, and broadband access, especially in the rural areas?
For the first time in Caldwell County, we were able to prepare and adopt a 10-year capital improvements plan that listed significant infrastructure resources such as roadways that required improvements. We're now able to take those projects, those individual roads, and go to the state, Campo, our MPO, and seek funding for those projects, whereas we were not able to do that before. So being proactive in those efforts will help us maintain our desirable level for those roadways. The road bond coming up is very important, and I hope everyone gets educated on that and studies it very closely. Broadband, we're working on that, and there should be some news in the near future related to grants and other programs designed to get that out to the rural areas.
Stand by, take the vote.
It's not.
You want me to?
Improv. I liked it better down there, I think, but this is going to be the last question for you both. In regards to economic development, what specific strategies do you plan to implement to encourage sustainable economic development and attract businesses to Caldwell County?
Caldwell County has a good and active economic development incentive program. We are competing always against areas that in many cases have more to offer than we do. But we compensate for that by working extremely hard with the groups and discussing ways that we can help them make Caldwell County home for their projects. We work to negotiate agreements with them that involve a give and take. They're participating in roadway projects. They're providing the infrastructure necessary to address their employees, and that they're paying good living wages to their future employees. So we have a good policy, we stick to it, and so far have been very successful.
I'll repeat it one more time. As Caldwell County continues to grow, how do you plan to address potential environmental concerns such as water conservation and land use while promoting responsible? Oh, yes, that is. You already answered that, right? I'm sorry, we had to try to switch it up because you all four were in a row, so I'm so sorry. What specific strategies do you plan to implement to encourage sustainable economic development and attract businesses to Caldwell County?
Again, I believe we need to think outside the box. I believe Lockhart's going to be the central hub for entertainment and people moving into the county. And I think we need to consider mixed-use properties, business on the bottom, apartments on top. As this county grows and our footprint gets so big, we're going to have to make it smaller. And I think if you get a company that comes in and invests in a business and helps, with the building, we can put housing on top where people can come home, relax, and go downstairs and enjoy their life. I believe we need to think out of the box, kind of like that moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sorry. Okay. Thank y'all. The next questions are gonna be for sheriff candidates. With Sheriff Lane being asked the first question, sorry. In regards to crime reduction and public safety, what specific measures do you plan to implement to reduce crime rates in Caldwell County, particularly in relation to drug-related offenses and property crimes?
So one of the things I've been talking about most of the year with the Senate bill money that I believe Commissioner Westlaw was talking about earlier, I am contracting with a company called Flunk
What they're gonna do is they're gonna install some cameras for us. Those cameras will do license plate readers. They will have, so it's way too smart for me. Directional noise, something or other, for gunfire. Basically what that's gonna do is that's gonna allow us to not only give our information from the license plate readers to surrounding counties, but that's also gonna allow us to take the same information from them. We share the same approach. It doesn't matter where, what part or what county we're in. We all share the same folks. That's gonna help us tremendously in tracking down these folks that are doing the things that they shouldn't be doing.
Okay, thank you. Hector, I'll repeat that question. What specific measures do you plan to implement to reduce crime rates in Caldwell County, particularly in relation to drug-related offenses and property crimes?
Number one, increase our law enforcement presence out in the county. Technology is great, but if you don't have eyes on and actually touching, feeling everything out there in the county, you're not gonna stop the crime. One of the things that on drug related, I was one of 16 soldiers that Governor Ann Richards appointed back in the day to work counter drug along our Texas border. I did it on and off for years and years and years. And there was a lot of drugs that were coming into central Texas and that were flying to Caldwell County. I believe in hard enforcement of narcotics coming through our county. If you haven't noticed, there's a new drug out there called pink cocaine. It'll soon make it here to the county. We need to stop it. We need strict enforcement. One of the things that I work really well with, I have a lot of friends in DEA, Border Patrol, U.S. Customs, and other agencies with three-letter acronyms. I will get out there and put a stop to this, and we will have a safe Caldwell County in the future. Thank you.
Okay, and you have the next question, please. In regards to community policing, how do you intend to foster trust and transparency between the sheriff's department and the community, particularly in underserved or rural areas?
Ladies and gentlemen, if I become sheriff, my department will be very transparent. One of the things is you pay me to keep you safe. That is my top priority in this county, just like I do it for emergency management. I'm 24/7. And I will be 24/7. I will be working with my fellow officers out there in the street. I just won't be sitting behind a desk. The deal is that we need tougher enforcement out in our county to reduce crime. If you haven't noticed, Caldwell County is growing at a tremendous rate, and along with that rate comes crime. A lot of these, if you haven't noticed, around the Mustang Ridge area, there's a big development going on up north. Well, guess what? Some of these people that are out in other counties or out in other states come to this because it'll be a target for us. We have to do strict enforcement and increase our law enforcement presence. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, I'll repeat the question. How do you intend to foster trust and transparency between the sheriff's department and the community, particularly in underserved or rural areas?
I do my best to get out in the community and do community functions. I try to build relationships in any area that I can. One of the biggest things, Hector says that he's not going to be behind the desk and he's going to be out taking care of business. The problem is we are growing, and we can't just do that by sitting behind our desk and working here in the county. We have to make relationships and build relationships with other sheriffs, other counties that are experiencing the same thing that we are. Celebratory gunfire is one of the biggest things that we are dealing with at this particular moment. Not only am I trying to take care of that here, I'm also trying to take care of it on the legislative side. I told you I'm a part of the Sheriff's Association of Texas, and I sit on the legislative committee. That means that I'm going to the Capitol when they're in session. That means that I'm trying to pass laws. I can't enforce a law that's not there, and I cannot break a law to enforce a law. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take the bigger step, and I'm trying to take care of what I need to do on the larger step to help us in Caldwell County.
Yes, thank you. In regards to mental health and law enforcement, what is your approach to handling mental health crisis and ensuring that officers are properly trained to respond to individuals with mental health issues?
So several years ago, actually before I was sheriff, I started pushing to have many of our deputies to go through the mental health course, to train them to be mental health officers. One of the biggest problems that we have in this county is mental health. Yes, we have a narcotics problem, but those narcotics are being used to self-medicate in a lot of areas. A lot of times, working in the jail, we have a jail, that's a huge part of being sheriff. A lot of folks think that it's okay to just lock these people up and throw away the key. The jail is not the place for that. I've worked with the Blue Bonnet. I've worked with several different folks throughout the Austin area, different hospitals, and we're trying to build a better mental health base for Central Texas and Caldwell County.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and repeat the question for you. What is your approach to handling mental health crises and ensuring that officers are properly trained to respond to individuals with mental health issues?
One of the things is that I am a mental health officer and I've been trained in mental health. I took the class with Hayes County. It's very important that you train your new officers and existing officers in mental health. And also you have to work with agencies out there that treat mental health, like St. David's Hospital, Dallas Children's Hospital, and other agencies out there, very important. These people have a problem, and a lot of them have to do because they can't afford the medication, it's so expensive. So a lot of them come off their meds, and then they go into a mental crisis. So then they'll end up in our jails. But we have to treat these individuals with that mental case. We have to give them the support and any medical treatment that we can provide them. And try to reduce the mental health issue as much as possible. Thank you.
Next question. In regards to department resources and budget, how will you ensure that the sheriff's department has the necessary resources, staffing, and equipment to effectively serve the growing population of Caldwell County without overburdening the county's budget?
Well, when I was in the military, my budget was $52 million. I had 13 helicopters, 2 fixed wing, and hundreds of soldiers, ammunition, and rifle. So the budget here, I would have to work with Commissioner's Court and the county judge to make sure that we have the proper adequate budget. Yes, but budget for the sheriff's department is big, and trying to manage that budget, it's going to take some help from the commissioners and the county judge. Make sure that our officers have the proper equipment, the proper training, the proper vehicles, and everything they need. It's not an easy task because, it has to look at Commissioner's Court, and sometimes things need to be taken care of in a different way. Either that or talking to you, the public, and putting out a bond out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I missed that question. Try that again.
You get to hear it again right now. How will you ensure that the sheriff's department has the necessary resources, staffing, and equipment to effectively serve the growing population of Caldwell County without overburdening the county's budget?
Without overburdening the county's budget. Well, that's where we work very closely with our commissioners and our county judge. We have been very blessed with our current, actually the last 2 commissioners' courts. They've really worked for us trying to build our budget and work with us. We have grant funding that we go out for quite a bit, including the new Senate bill money, to get more and improved equipment. We're using new things like less lethal. We just ordered some gloves. I have a video of me getting the gloves used on me, and that they take care of you. I'll just say that they will restrain you quickly. I may have restrained like a little girl. I don't know, but we've worked with everyone that we can. I go outside the agency to try to find other grants. I try to use other things that we have. We had an old jail dorm that I turned into our classroom and our CID and our evidence room. It was a part of the building that was not being used anymore, so I transformed it using minimal funds. We do everything that we can to be as efficient as we can.
Okay, and the last question. Collaboration with other agencies. How do you plan to collaborate with local, state, and federal agencies to address broader issues like human trafficking, drug trafficking, and organized crime within Caldwell County?
Very easily, as a matter of fact. I think I can say, and I'm going to look at Richard and hopefully get a nod here. We have a better working relationship with the
constables offices, with DPS, with game warden, with everybody else in this county, and we have for years. Again, I sit on a lot of different boards because we have to build those relationships, not only on the state level, but the federal level as well. Many years ago, I made a commitment to this county. My entire adult life has been serving this county, and I continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, final question. How do you plan to collaborate with local, state, and federal agencies to address broader issues like human trafficking, drug trafficking, and organized crime within Caldwell County?
Well, like I told you earlier, I've already been working with a lot of agencies before, and I have a lot of connections throughout the county. But working closely with our other counties and state officials that are out there, we need to work together to stop all this human smuggling, drugs coming across our county on I-30, 304, Highway 183. It's a top priority to make these work with these departments out there, and even if I have to, I'll start an intelligence unit. But I gotta get the people first in order to do that. But working with all the agencies out there is a big, big must. We just can't do it ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. The next questions are going to be. Okay, our next questions are going to be for tax assessor collector candidates. With Ms. Sanders will be first. Okay, first question. What, if any, changes do you feel are needed to make the office you are seeking more transparent and or more efficient and more accessible to county residents?
Well, like I said before, I would like to create a drive-through to make it easier for the citizens to get their business taken care of and move on with their busy lives. I would like to be set up with HEB where you can renew your registration there at HEB, and also extended hours and not closing the Lumen office during lunch, because I feel like this office should be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, no exceptions. Thank you.
Thank you. Joy, welcome up. I'll repeat the question. What, if any, changes do you feel are needed to make the office you are seeking more transparent and or more efficient and more accessible to county residents?
Well, first I will say, I do look forward to bringing on more staff. The 2025 budget has already been passed, and we were awarded more of the budget to bring on more people. When we bring on those more staff members, we need to be able to train them. I anticipate being able to do more training with the Secretary of State and conferences, and just basically making the office more transparent. The Luling office is already open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. The only time it's closed is during lunch. It's a one-man show, so not much you can do there. She's entitled to a lunch break, just like everybody else at the Lockhart office. But we can definitely train our new members when they come on, and I look forward to being able to get more training for the Secretary of State.
Thank you. Okay, you have this question. Embezzlement and employee theft are prevalent in county tax assessor collector offices. This activity costs taxpayers money to investigate, prosecute, and compensate the outside entities to which the money should have gone. What procedures will you implement to prevent and or detect this type of activity?
Okay, embezzlement. We have a wonderful auditor's office currently in the Caldwell County. I previously worked there many years ago, and now I'm back at the office, so I've had the first-hand experience of seeing how it's changed, how we're doing things now versus the way it used to be done many years ago. And there's a lot more checks and balances. When I did all my refreshers with coming back from the county, there was a lot of training that specifically hit on those topics. There's checks and balances within the office. Then we send everything on to the treasurer's office to be our bank and receive all of our money. And then from there it goes to the auditor's office for even more checks and balances. So I absolutely have faith that, by the time everything gets to the state, it's been checked multiple times, and embezzlement or, things that shouldn't be happening would be happening, if not ever, definitely a lot less than what it used to be.
Thank you. Great. Debbie, I'll repeat that question. So embezzlement and employee theft are prevalent in county tax assessor collector offices. This activity costs taxpayers money to investigate, prosecute, and compensate the outside entities in which the money should have gone. What procedure will you implement to prevent and/or detect this type of activity?
I think it will start with the staff. It is important that the tax office employees are held to a high standard to prevent negative practices like the ones that have occurred in the past. And having the treasurer's office, the auditor's office is important to have them look over everything that has gone through. Because that office is one of the offices, probably the only office that brings in so much money that you've got to have integrity and you've got to be on top of your game to run this office. Thank you.
Thank you. This will be the final question. Debbie, you have this one. What are your long-term goals for the tax assessor collector's office if you are elected?
If I'm elected, I will make needed changes because like everybody has said, the county is growing. This office has not made any changes in the last 3 terms. And that is my goal, is to be there for you and make sure that we keep up with what needs to be done in the office for the citizens.
Thank you. All right, Joy, last question. What are your long-term goals for the tax assessor collector's office if you are elected?
Well, not to sound like a broken record, but the county is exploding. Our population is going through the roof. So my long-term goals is to be an office that is serving the people in our growing community with opportunities to bring on the new staff that we've been allotted, and probably even more as the years continue. I want to be able to be a positive employer, offering honest wages with benefits and allowing our citizens to be able to have good local jobs while raising their family and living in our community. I want the courthouse to be a joyful place to visit when they need to come and renew their registrations, get title transfers, get handicap placards while they're recovering from a surgery or even more long-term situations. I want it to be a nice place to visit and for people to know that they can come and take care of their business.
Thank you. That will be it for your questions. Thank you. Okay, the next questions are going to go for our school board, with Mr. Burnett being the first. First question, what are your top priorities for improving the school district?
Let's see, for improving the school district, right now we're doing a navigate to 28 throughout the district. One of the goals of that is teacher pay. By 28, we'll have 30% of our staff making over $100,000 a year. That takes care of staff well. And we already have several teachers that are already making over $100,000, which I know that's very exciting to them. With that, it comes, the job for the board is to oversee what they do. Mr. Strong runs the district, we oversee what he does, and we have a great superintendent. We follow his lead, we work together as a team, working with him, developing the curriculum and everything for the district and leading it in the path that it's going. Right now, our district's going great.
Thank you. Chris, welcome up.
Thank you.
I'll repeat the question. What are your top priorities for improving the school district?
Thank you. First and foremost, we'll be taking a hold of that overcrowding issue. I don't see it being perfect in the school district right now. I believe that overcrowding leads to bullying, leads to other things, drugs, gangs, and things like that. I think hitting that is a main priority. Safety is really big concern of mine. I do have a child in third grade right now. I do not want her going through the issues that junior high and high school are going through right now. So those would be my two big ones. Other issues or other items that I would want to work on would be for the district would be nutrition. I want to make sure that kids have the proper nutrition to go throughout the day. I also want to work on other issues that involve making sure that kids have a good learning environment.
Okay, thank you. And you have the next question. Discipline at secondary grades. What specific strategies will you support to address the ongoing discipline issues at secondary campuses? And how can the board ensure that these strategies promote a safe environment for both students and teachers?
Thank you. Discipline has been tackled on by Superintendent Estrada in different ways. I appreciate the fact that he is using different methods for discipline. I know that getting people out of an unhealthy, overcrowded situation at their junior high and high school is something that he agrees to as far as removing them from the learning environment. But I feel like we can do more. I feel like there's other options out there, options from the parents that the board has not listened to and that I'm willing to listen to, and also options from newer people, fresh ideas on the board from newer people being elected and put onto the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Warren, what specific strategies will you support to address the ongoing discipline issues at secondary campuses? And how can the board ensure that these strategies promote a safe environment for both students and teachers?
I will say this year, we've had several times, we've had the drug dogs at both the junior high and the high school. Only a couple of times have students been caught with anything. So with that, we already can tell that we're doing things. We haven't had the drug dogs in the past. Now that we're bringing them into school regularly, that has helped a lot with the drugs within the school. That's one of the things we're doing now. And as we continue to go, there are more and more ways. The overcrowding obviously is an issue. Junior high is way overcrowded, the new schools are coming, and as those come, more and more things will be done. My number is on the website. Anybody can call me. I've had many people call me about it. Believe it or not, I don't get calls about discipline within the school. I know that may surprise people, but I get calls for other things, but usually it's not the discipline things. And anybody that has ideas or ways that we can do it, but we have to follow whatever the law says for us to do. We can't just go and tell Mr. Scotty, you must do this. It's up to him to implement the different plans.
Thank you. Okay, next question. With a large number of emergent bilingual students in our schools, what initiatives will you support to ensure students and teachers receive the necessary resources and support for these students to succeed academically?
So several years ago at the teacher forums, the bilingual department came into it and they're like, we don't have the information and we don't have the things we need from the bilingual department. At that point, Mr. Scott took it along with the board and said, we need to do more to give them the curriculum that they need. We immediately went out, found curriculum, and we have it now within the classrooms. As the bilinguals continue to come, we're gonna have more and more students that come. The curriculum is now there, they're working through it, and we'll continue to support them just as we are now.
Thank you. Great, Chris, with a large number of emergent bilingual students in our schools, what initiatives will you support to ensure students and teachers receive the necessary resources and support for these students to succeed academically?
Thank you. I've always supported teachers and their decisions on how to go about teaching bilingual classes. When I first moved here to Lockhart, I wanted my child, who is English speaking, to learn Spanish but there was no classes for those. I would probably push for some of those classes where bilingual students can or Spanish-speaking students and English-speaking students can be in the same class so they can both learn English and Spanish at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you. And you'll have the next one. The final question. Nearly all of the elementary schools across Lockhart ISD are experiencing or have recently experienced overcrowding. It has been said that the new elementary is solely for new growth and will not help to alleviate the overcrowding issues that already exist. Besides building new schools, what steps can be implemented to help support students and teachers regarding this issue next year?
Right, and I've been to many meetings and some of the school board meetings as well, and the principals have some great ideas, and I totally support the junior high principal in staggering their bell system. They have a staggered bell system to where not all the kids are out in the hallways at the same time. Overcrowding is definitely something that will happen, and in the interim, before we get new schools and middle schools and high schools, we need to make sure that we have certain systems that can deal with those issues. Not only that, but it is a safety concern when you have so many kids at a particular secondary school.
Thank you. Warren, your final question. Nearly all elementary schools across Lockhart ISD are experiencing or have recently experienced overcrowding. It has been said that the new elementary is solely for new growth and will not help to alleviate the overcrowding issues that already exist. Besides building new schools, what steps can be implemented to help support students and teachers regarding this issue next year?
I don't agree with the premise of the questions because it is going to alleviate all the schools. We had a meeting yesterday with Dr. Camarillo. She got with several board members, and she's meeting with each of the board members because there's a committee right now because we're redrawing the lines for all of the schools. We're working with the demographer to set them up so that all the schools will be basically the same size when the new school opens. The new school is not just for the new growth. We're going to move people around, and then it's going to happen every 2 and 3 and 4 years in the future as the growth comes. Some of the students will have to move for different schools. So we're actually going to alleviate all of it. The committees are meeting right now. We're going to have public forums on the students that are being moved around so that you understand. My daughter was moved a few years back when we did it. Your student may have to move as well. But it's so that we can get the overcrowding out of all of the elementary schools and spread them out throughout the district because there's going to be growth in different areas and they're going to be overcrowded again, and then we're going to have to redraw lines again to bring it down. But the new school is not just for the new growth.
Thank you. And those are the questions. Thank you. And we'll have a couple of questions for the state representative. Okay, first question. What specific legislation do you plan to introduce or support in your first term?
Like I said in my opening remarks, one of my priorities will be improving our public education. So proposing legislation to increase the per student allotment granted by the state, as well as increasing and improving our rights for our union rights for public employees, and expanding our teachers' pay to adequate wages.
Thank you. Final question. How do you plan to stay connected with your constituents and address their concerns?
I think I've built pretty spectacular relationships throughout this last year, pushing as hard as I have in the field, knocking as many doors. And so I would continue to just visit my constituents in that manner, holding town hall opportunities, as well as joining more city hall meetings and just conversing with my constituents as I am now.
Thank you. Our final question. How do you plan to stay connected with your constituents and address their concerns?
So, I would have the ability to have a minimum of 2 offices in a district. I think maybe the opportunity for 3, and have those staffed full-time. So I would look at having one in the Lockhart Bastrop area and one in the Corpus Christi area, and then probably one kind of halfway in between if 3 offices are available. And then have new staffers there that can answer questions when I'm in DC, and they can, relay those to me. But when I'm in the district, I'll be working in the district, so.
All right, thank you. And last question is, what specific legislation do you plan to introduce or support in your first term?
So specifically, I'm working on women's rights, women's reproductive rights, so be one. Also fully funding different programs for education. Congress can work with special education, CTE programs, and school lunches. And one of the things I would love to see with our nutrition in our schools, being a public school teacher, even if we have a whole wheat donut, it's still a powdered sugar donut and not an appropriate breakfast for a first grader. So I would like to see those kinds of things changed. I would like to see our kids drinking whole milk, because the fats in whole milk are what makes our brain develop, and that is research-driven information. So schools and women's rights would be the 2 probably top priorities going forward.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Before I hand it over to Rob, I just want to quickly say thank you all. The time and effort that you put into your campaigning does not go unnoticed, and it's really all for the greater goal of building a better place for us to live, for us to work, and raise our families. And that's big, and thank you all for that.
So once again, I'd like to give a big round of applause for all of our candidates up here. All right, we're back. All right. Maybe it's just me, too much electrifying electricity in my body here. But I want to thank everyone for showing up here, everyone for tuning in online. Thank you so much again to our AV team, Lockhart High School, as well as Mr. Wilkinson, Mr. Bishop. Thank you so much for all of your help in setting this up. Lockhart Chamber of Commerce, Susie Cobb, Win Smith, Erica Hoyos as well. Thank you to our moderators, Ms. Casey Brown and Lori Rangel. Big round of applause for them. This will conclude our forum. I'm sure the candidates are going to stick around and have a little shaking babies and kissing hands and whatnot. Is that going by? I don't see it. All right, so you want to go down the line? We're going to start with Mr. BJ Westmoreland for closing statements. We'll go with what the sheriff says. So, all right, so we have the celebration up.
Two, oh, sorry.
I'm glad somebody read everything.
Okay, we're almost done now. Over the past year, I've spoken with policy experts, law enforcement agents, commissioners from other counties, previous commissioners, developers, and residents across Caldwell County. People are concerned about how rapid growth is going to impact them. I've also heard concerns about property taxes and the need for funding things like our animal shelter. As your commissioner, I would focus on managing growth through effective communication. I have attended most Commissioner Court's meetings this year, and I have seen the good work that is being done, like the emergency airlift program, the school constable program, which BJ was a part of at the beginning. I've seen the road program road improvements that they're working on, and the future comprehensive plan. But many people are unaware of these efforts, and that has to change. I have always prioritized communication, whether it's through face-to-face conversations, robust social media, and engaging community events. I believe in keeping people informed and involved, connecting people with opportunities and resources and each other. This is how we build
a stronger, trusting community. Caldwell County is growing fast, and it's uncomfortable. We must plan for it in a way that empowers everyone. We must build trust, and I believe that I can aid in this. This is why I would appreciate your vote. And let me emphasize, I am not running against BJ Westmoreland. I am running for Caldwell County. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, BJ Westmoreland.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you for letting me go first to start this whole thing off tonight. In respect to everybody's time, I appreciate everybody's efforts tonight putting this event on. It is very important to obviously be informed when you go to the ballot box. And as serving as your commissioner in Precinct 1 over the last 6 years has been a great privilege to me. I have learned an incredible amount about what it takes to operate county government efficiently. We have a lot of challenges in Caldwell County. I think that's pretty apparent after the robust conversation tonight. And it's going to take quite a bit of intuitive thought in order to solve a lot of these challenges. But with your support, I would appreciate your vote, continuing that work going forward. Again, thank you all for attending tonight. Have a great evening.
We're almost done. When I started this morning, there were 3 things I talked about: the management of growth, public safety, and transparency. Those weren't the things that I came up with. Those are the things that I heard knocking on doors, having meetings with people. And that's their voice, the voice of Caldwell County. This is what they want addressed. And I can't promise I can change everything, but one thing I can promise you, that after November the 5th, politics are out the door. It's about Caldwell County, not about one side or the other. And I will work with whoever the other commissioners are to make this a better place for all of us. And my doors will always be open. You will see me in the community. The people in Precinct 3 will know the face of the commissioner. And everybody's talked about Caldwell County's been doing the same thing years and years and years, over and over and over again. Well, let's change this. Let's get together, stand up, and do something about it, and make me your next commissioner for Precinct 3 come November. Thank you.
Thank you all for sticking with us tonight. Caldwell County is at a crossroads. In one direction, we can follow experience, good governance, professionalism to a bright future that I know we are all aiming towards. And the other, we can follow an uncertain path and hope for the best. The unprecedented growth that is occurring in our county has brought both positive and negative impacts. We've talked about those tonight. The capital investment in new manufacturing and commercial growth has allowed us to shift the tax burden and to reduce the tax rate over the last 8 years. We brought over 2,000 high-paying jobs that have been created right here at home for our Caldwell County residents. And new commercial and entertainment opportunities that have occurred have increased our convenience and our quality of life. On the other side of the coin, the negatives include increased traffic congestion, and we all have work to do there. And the loss of much of our rural lifestyle. There's not many of the old-time farmers that are still in play in Caldwell County, especially in Precinct 3. In addition, the growth heavily impacts our school system, you've heard about that tonight, and our general public safety. A very visible issue relating to public safety is our need to address the many noise, harassment complaints that are occurring in the county, and this is a priority for us all. These issues drive down our property values and reduce the quality of life in our community. And I talked about the commissioner's role in assisting our professionals by providing the funding and resources to address these problems. And I commit to you that I will continue to do that. But thank you again for this opportunity. Please call me if you ever have any issues related to the county that you wish to discuss. I always answer my phone. And I hope that I've earned your vote for another term as county commissioner in precinct 3. Thank you.
I'm back up here again. I hope I'll do this quick. I just want to let y'all know that I plan to be a sheriff that wears a uniform and shows command and authority. That's very important to everyone that here. Top priority, make sure that I got plenty of officers. My goal is to have at least 30 officers by as soon as I can. That is a top priority because we need that. Remember that big project I was telling you about with celebratory gunfire? I have been talking to State Representative Armando Martinez, 36th District out of West Central Texas. I just got in Caldwell County to Senate Bill 86, celebratory gunfire. We're the first Central Texas county that went on that list. But a lot of those counties come out of the Rio Grande Valley, Houston, Dallas, and other counties. And I will be a witness to that because I have walked the streets of Litton Springs and Dale and personally talked to a lot of the residents out there in Spanish that have showed me photos in their houses, and they're afraid. That is a top priority. The other thing is transparency. I want to be as transparent as possible as I can. You pay for me to be your sheriff. You pay for me to keep you safe. Top priority is your safety in this county. I already do it every day, every night, 24/7 as your emergency management coordinator. While you're sleeping, I'm out there fighting a fire or taking care of a disaster. What have I handled to? There's been tornadoes in Caldwell County, been here, train derailments and other emergencies. So guess what? If I get elected into the sheriff's department, guess what? I'm bringing that same ethic into Caldwell County. I'm not playing games. This is not a promise. This is what I'm going to do for Caldwell County. Thank you. Please welcome me.
I have a lot of respect for Hector. He's done a lot for this community and for this nation. Thank you for all that you've done. So one of the things Hector said a while ago, he's a masterpiece officer. That's something to absolutely hang your hat on. I received my masterpiece officer 12 years ago. I also have my master jailer's license, my advanced training officer license, my firearms instructor license. The biggest liability that we have in this county, bar none, is our jail. I'd like to say that 3 of the last 4 years since I've been in office, we have been past our jail inspection. With 3 of the last 4 years, we've got a 0 technical assistance. We have done phenomenal. And the Texas Jail Commission looks to us to help other jails get to where they need to be. Folks, that's something that you need to be proud of. To listen to my last Republican candidate that ran against me, and the last couple of minutes, you would think that I'm never in office. Folks, that's not the case. I'm your sheriff 24/7. We have technology now. I have a laptop. I have my email. My phone number, my direct phone number is 512-359-4501. You call me, I'm going to answer, as I always do. I may not run the streets in a patrol car, I may not wear a uniform, but I can assure you that I am your sheriff 24/7. I humbly ask for your vote November 5th. Again, Mike Lane, Caldwell County Sheriff. Thank you.
If you're still asking yourself who's the best choice for tax assessor collector, my opponent has a vision for the office if she is elected. This vision consists of her comments that our Newman substation will be open full-time, which it already is. She discusses a drive-through option for vehicle registrations. Our current location is in a beautiful downtown historic courthouse. Adding a drive-through there would not be possible. Adding a drive-through would mean the county would have to lease another building, buy another building, or remodel an existing county building, all of which takes time, money, and would require us to move locations. This would all have to be voted on by a commissioner's court and approved in a new budget year. I'm not opposed to the drive-through, but the infrastructure just simply isn't there. So I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that something could happen when it wouldn't be solely up to me, even if I did win the election. Another vision for my opponent is that she would like to see our local HEB selling vehicle registrations to our residents. As much as I love HEB for their groceries, household items, and philanthropic assistance during bad Texas weather, nobody does it better than HEB, and I totally agree. When it comes to registrations, stickers, title works, handicap placards, and government business, those need to be kept at your county office and not at a grocery store. Instead of standing there asking for you to vote for me to put me in office, but outsourcing a third of our workload to HEB employees, I want to tell you what my vision is for the office. I want to offer wonderful jobs for local people raising their family and wanting to live in Caldwell County. I want to give them fair wages and benefits and provide them with an enjoyable work environment serving people Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I am proud to announce that our staff will be growing in 2025, and I look forward to being able to help more people quicker. And I'm committed to providing a positive work environment, and I ask for you to vote for Joy. Thank you.
So my closing statement is completely different now. Everything's changed. So renewing your getting your tags at HEB is possible. And I'm talking just your tags. It takes 5 minutes to go in there to their business center and get your tags and leave. Other counties do it. There's no reason that Caldwell County can't do it. As far as the drive-through, there is already a county building that has a drive-through that can accommodate having a satellite office for the drive-through. Anyway, back to my closing statement. With so many responsibilities, the tax assessor collector must have the integrity to oversee the transactions processed daily. As the tax assessor, I pledge to make this elected position my only priority, as I do not and will not hold another job while serving as your tax assessor. I am committed to serving the citizens of Caldwell County. I have you in mind. I am asking for your vote because I am the best candidate for tax assessor collector. I will be there for the citizens of our county. I am also committed to ensuring that the tax office employees are held to high standards to prevent negative practices like the ones that occurred when a previous tax assessor collector resigned from her position while my opponent was chief deputy. I am asking for your vote in the November election because I will be there for you. Thank you.
Thank you for sticking around. I saw a couple of people leave, but if you let us go, we'll talk forever, So I'm gonna try to keep this short here. I'm not here to build a personal legacy or make my resume look better. I'm here for the students and to make sure your tax dollars benefit the majority of the students, not just a select few. My plan is to have a presence within the community if elected as a trustee. I will continue to reach out to the public for issues and concerns that they have and relay information on why the board voted the way they did. Communication works 2 ways. They don't just call you, you gotta go and reach out to them. Thank you, and I would really appreciate your support in the election. Vote Chris Charles, LISD, seat number 4.
Lockhart ISD. I joined 8 years ago as a board member, as I was on there. 2016, we did shortly thereafter, we did an excellence in government with the board. The entire board was our first board in the state of Texas, did excellence in government. They came in and they taught us how to work as a board and how to work together with the superintendent and with the staff so that we can lead the district in that way. And one of the things I remember that they said was, it starts at the top. The board's the top of the district. If the board is working together, they're working consistent with it, every student, every teacher, all the way down. Because years ago, they didn't think that it mattered what the board did and how well they got along with those things. But in that training, we learned that it's about working together as a board. It's not about my opinion and what I want. It's about what the board as a whole wants with the administration. It's not us telling them what to do. It's about working together for all of our students so that they get the best education that they can get, so that we can be fiscally responsible with your money that we're spending on our students, so that we have fewer bonds, we save money, and we're able to do things like the 4% teacher raise, when every other district around Lockhart weren't able to give a raise at zero budget. We didn't have to go above. Everyone else that gave raises in Central Texas, they went above the budget. We're a balanced budget and a 4% raise for all our teachers. It's because the district is run together with the board and with Mr. Estrada so that all students get a good education and we're fiscally responsible with your money. Thank you.
All right, bless your hearts for still being here. I have spent the last year organizing, educating, and earning the trust and support of my community members. I want you to know my dedication levels. I have not taken a day off since Christmas, and I will not take one off until after the election cycle is over. I think growing up impoverished ingrains into you a work ethic and versatility that I just honestly don't think you can learn in any other setting. I hope I look like I come from something that I don't, but in reality, I have pulled calves, I have replaced transmissions, I've reshingled homes, many homes. I have coached middle school and junior high students. I am currently a homeowner, I'm a small business owner operator, and I am a lower middle class citizen. I'm simply looking to make a difference and be a voice for us out here in rural Texas because we have typically been ignored and overlooked from our politicians. Our government should be prioritizing our needs, and I want to assure you that I am tenacious and driven, and I'm also furious with the lack of attention that we receive from our government, and I will not be trying to rectify this. I will be rectifying this if elected into this position. I simply hope to inspire you guys to take stock of what's happening around you and to get more involved in, to earn your support through physical action and proven dedication, not nice political speeches. This is why, like I said, I haven't taken a full day off all year and why I've been pulling 12, 14, some days, 16-hour days on the campaign trail, knocking doors and phone calling constituents. I think talk is cheap and actions speak louder than words, and I might not be the most eloquent or politically correct person, but I absolutely will not be outworked, and my intentions will never be anything less than pure. You will always be my priority and the only place my allegiance lies. I have no allegiances towards the Democratic Party, and I have no allegiances towards the Republican Party. You are my allegiance. No amount of money or power will persuade me because I've not only seen the struggles, I have lived the struggles of our rural communities myself. Regardless of if I win this race or not, I am dedicated to running again and continuing to spend my time organizing and educating the district. This is not a career for me. This is a form of activism and public service. When I previously preached about reaching across the aisle earlier in my opening statement, I want you to know, again, I am a Democrat on the ballot, and I have signs in Republican yards all across this district. I have signs next to Trump signs. I have signs next to Ted Cruz signs because I am knocking those doors and making that connection with the constituents across the district. I think putting me in office will surprise you and be the beginning of a new wave of anti-corruption politicians. So I ask for your vote and support. Again, my name is Desiree Venable for Texas State House District 17. Thank you.
So along with fighting for women's reproductive rights, I want to invest in rural health care. There are women right now in Texas 27 that are driving an hour and a half or more to labor and delivery unit. That's the closest one to where they live. We need to improve our infrastructure. I've talked to people in Corpus Christi that say if they run their water lines at capacity, I'm talking city water lines, they burst. They need to be replaced. We need to work on this infrastructure. I want to support our veterans. There's 27,000 veterans just at Texas 27, not counting the ones all across the U.S., by making more readily available places for them to visit and take their insurance, and not just for physical, but for mental health as well. We need to take care of our veterans when they come back, and their families as well. Instead of voting no on legislation such as the PACT Act, which helps our veterans that were exposed to burn pits in Afghanistan and Iraq, I want to support them and vote yes, so that they can be supported when they come home with health care. Because being fiscally conservative does not mean investing in nothing. I am a fifth generation Texan. We didn't move to Lockhart till I was 8, but that's okay. I am invested in this district. My family moved to DeWitt County in the 1840s, which is part of this district, and I've traveled up and down this district my entire life, and this district means a lot to me. It's personal, and I want to represent you to the best of my ability, and I want to see this district not just survive, but thrive. So I'm asking for your support on November 5th so that we can have a first grade teacher in Congress and the very first person ever out of Caldwell County elected into Congress.
All right, so now I'm just hoping I didn't miss anything else.
So now.
Well, I said all thank yous earlier. Thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you again to our team for live streaming this event. To everyone who couldn't be here, thank you again to all our candidates. A big round of applause for them again. Be sure to reach out to them. They have plenty of information. They've all been made accessible. I'm sure they have plenty of signage they can still get to you, and information that they can get out to you as well. So once again, thank you to everyone who helped put this together. Our Chamber, Greater Caldwell County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and our moderators. Thank you so much for coming out. God bless you. Good night.